The Trojans are hella smart, but do the Mustangs have the horse sense it takes to beat them next on Quiz Kids?
It's the Bay Area Quiz Kids. Brought to you by the San Mateo Credit Union. And now, the best host on the West Coast, Brad Friedman.
Hi everybody, I'm Brad Friedman. Welcome to another game of Quiz Kids. We have 4 great teams. Let's meet the first 2 right now. Over here we have the Homestead Mustangs. And in their hella smart t-shirts, the Castro Valley Trojans. Welcome to the set, Jessica and gentlemen. Good luck. Here's your first toss-up question. Of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, which is the only one that Karthik?
Great Pyramid.
That is right. For 25 points, which Egyptian port city was home to the ancient lighthouse known as the Pharos?
Alexandria.
That is in stereo. Good. And for 50 points, the ancient Babylonians built pyramid-shaped structures. What name do we give to these structures?
Ziggurats.
You've got 50 points. Here's your next toss-up. If I said Alps and elephants, you'd likely think of William.
Hannibal.
That is correct. For 25 points, the Hannibal we found in Tom Sawyer is located in what state?
Missouri.
Okay. Missouri.
Yes, and for 50 points, Hannibal was from Carthage, which was located on what continent?
Africa.
You got 50 points. Next toss-up. Along with Gottfried Leibniz, he's considered Karthik?
Isaac Newton.
Correct. For 25 points, Newton's second great work was a 1704 treatise on what field of physics concerned with the propagation of light?
Optics.
And for 50 points, the optical phenomenon of Newton's rings is due to alternating regions displaying the constructive and destructive forms of what effect?
Interference.
You got 50 points. Let's catch our breaths. And let's meet the members of the team. Homestead, Brandon Herron, you're a sophomore, and you're into kayaking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so where do you usually go, or do you go to lots
So we went to Monterey this one time, and the best kayak thing we ever did was when my dad accidentally threw his camera into the water, and then we had to fish it out because there were seals nearby, and we didn't want them to eat the Kodaks. That wouldn't be good.
That wouldn't be good. Did the camera manage to take some shots of the seals anyway?
Not very waterproof. So.
No, too bad. Karthik Srivatsan, you're a senior, and you take part in a game or a simulator called the Kerbal Space Program.
That's correct.
And you made Sunny laugh. So what is the Kerbal Space Program? It sounds a little bit like Tribbles. Tribbles.
So it's a space flight simulator, and you get to launch various craft, rockets, probes, and other spacecraft into the solar system and explore different planets and moons.
Excellent. Well, you don't never have to leave home and still be an astronaut. Fantastic.
Yeah.
William Scott, sophomore. So if all goes well, we are showing this episode on May 2nd, and a week from tomorrow will be Mother's Day. Mm-hmm. And in honor of that, you ran a half marathon with your mom.
Yeah.
Aw. And you trained together.
Yeah, we did. We followed this very specific training plan, and she hadn't done much running before, so it was just really great to be able to do that with her.
How'd she do?
Well, we finished in a time that we were both really happy with, so it was great.
Fantastic. And a nice way to spend some time with your mom.
Yeah.
Hello, Castro Valley. I know you're eager to score some points. Let's say hello to you first. Gordon Cole, you're a senior, and you have your own video game live stream program. I hear that's very popular in South Korea now, that kids will watch other kids play games.
Yeah, yes, sir. But, most streamers actually come from, America or Europe. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I find it really fun to do, too.
So you point your camera at the game and people watch you play?
No, there's software to capture my game screen, so I only present what's on my screen.
Right, that's what I mean. The camera's on the screen, and they're watching the game in action.
Right.
And do they comment on it?
I mean, yeah, sometimes they just shoot comments over hey, that was a really bad play. I'm like, yeah, thanks.
Wow, virtual something. Yeah, cool. Sunny Joe, you're a senior, and you've played the saxophone for how many years?
4 years.
All through high school.
All through high school.
You're in the jazz band,
Yes.
which is its own form of cool.
It's supposed to be. I was expecting more ladies.
And you're just in the pit of your school musical. What'd you do?
I play the flute in there.
No,
so.
but I don't. What about the show? What was the show?
The show is called Footloose.
Well, that's a fun show to play. Kind of rock and roll.
Yeah.
You're a very, very low-key musician.
Yeah.
There's so many musicians like you, Sonny.
Thank you. I try.
Kind of moony rather than sunny. Kind of a moody kind of.
I'm sorry. I'm
Kind
sorry.
of, Jessica Yin, you're a junior,
Yes.
and you run
Yeah, I run.
cross country in the fall.
Yes.
Track in the winter.
In the spring. Yeah.
Spring.
Yeah.
Long distance.
Yes.
What's the longest distance you run?
For track, I run the 3,200 meters, so that's 2 miles.
2 miles. You like to do some long distance? Maybe you can run a half marathon with William and his
Yeah, maybe.
mom. That'd be cool. After the show, we'll talk. All right, you guys, good luck. Let's get Castro Valley on the scoreboard with our next toss-up. Julius Caesar levied one called Germanica. In ancient Rome, what basic infantry units typically had 4,800 Carthic?
Legion.
Yes, for 25 points. Each legion had a standard, topped by what bird that also appears on some American currency?
Eagle.
Yes, and for 50 points, Sejanus, who became de facto ruler of the empire, commanded what group of bodyguards who protected the emperor?
Praetorian.
And you got another 50 points. Here's your next toss-up. Which now commonly used element was too costly to extract commercially until, yes, Carthic?
Aluminum.
Yes, for 25 points. In its natural state, most aluminum is extracted from what ore?
Yeah.
Bauxite.
Yes, and for 50 points, used in early aircraft, duralumin was an alloy consisting of aluminum and what metallic element often used for electric wires?
Copper. Yeah. Okay.
Copper.
That's 50 points again. Next toss-up. After 1912, it was decades before another star was added to the U.S. flag. In what year was that star added? Carthic?
1959.
Yes. For 25 points, what state was represented by that 49th star?
Wait,
Alaska.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
But are you saying
Alaska.
You all said it, but not to me. For 50 points, what state was represented by the 48th star added in 1912?
Arizona or New Mexico?
New Mexico.
New Mexico?
Arizona. Oh my God, you guys are terrible.
What are we gonna do?
Next toss-up. Julia Ward Howe wrote which American patriotic song sung to the tune of John Brown's Body? My knives have seen the glory of the... Okay. Battle Hymn of the Republic. Next toss-up. In 1909, William Bateson coined the name for what science? The study of heredity, whose fathers often said Carthic.
Genetics.
Yes. For 25 points, between 1856 and 1863, Mendel cultivated and tested nearly 30,000 of what kind of plants?
Pea plants.
That's right. And for 50 points, what do geneticists call a trait that will manifest when only one copy of the gene is present?
Dominant.
That is 50 points. And that is the end of the round. 325 for Homestead. Castro Valley has yet to score. We'll see what happens when we return. Welcome back, everybody. The coaches are in the house, and let's say hello to them. First, from Homestead, Mr. Jason Scott. And from Castro Valley, Miss Jerry Cox. Thank you so much, coaches, for all you do. All right, Castro Valley, I know you want to score. You may even want to take the lead. We'll give you the chance to do that right now with our final round. We have 3 categories. The point value for each correct answer is 65 points, and you need 5 correct answers to take the lead. So the categories today are Lucky 3, First Ladies, and Play It Again. Which category would you like?
Lucky 3.
Lucky 3. All right. I would like you to give these people, places, or things associated with the number 3 or grouped in 3s. The first one. It's the element with atomic number 3.
Lithium.
That is correct. It's the North African capital whose name means 3 cities.
Tripoli.
Tripoli is correct. It's the Anton Chekhov play about Olga, Masha, and Irina.
3 Sisters.
The 3 Sisters is right, Sonny. The next one, it's the Great Dam on the Yangtze River.
3 Gorges.
That is correct. Number 5, it's scoring 3 goals in a single hockey game. What do we call that?
Hat trick.
That is right. You have now tied You have 2 more questions. It's the molecule formed from 3 oxygen atoms.
Ozone.
Right. And finally, it's the 3-river city in Pennsylvania.
Tri-delta.
No 3 rivers flow through Pittsburgh, but you have 390. Homestead, you need 1 correct answer, and you will win the game.
Yeah.
Would you like first ladies or play it again?
We're gonna do first ladies.
First ladies. I'm going to ask you which president belonged to the first lady that I will mention. Okay. Which American president's first lady was Martha Dandridge Custis?
George Washington.
You've won the game. No, you haven't. You've tied the game. Oh, how wrong I was. You thought I was going to make you work harder? Nice try. All right. Which American president's first lady was Nancy Davis?
That's Ronald Reagan, right? Ronald Reagan.
Now you've won the game. Congratulations, Homestead. Thank you both. We'll see both teams next week, and we'll be right back with another match. Don't go away. We have returned, and we brought 2 new teams with us. Let's meet them now. Right over here, we have the Burlingame High School Panthers. And they're taking on the Stewart Hall Knights. Welcome, gentlemen. Good luck. Here's your first toss-up question. In 1914, West Virginia high school teacher Anna Jarvis succeeded in having a particular spring Sunday nationally recognized as what holiday? Drew.
Mother's Day.
Yes, and maybe next week you could take your mother on a half marathon. I just suggested it. It's a great idea. For 25 points, the first of what June holiday occurred in 1908 when Mrs. Grace Golding Clayton wanted to celebrate the lives of 210 men lost in a mining accident months earlier?
Labor Day? Father's Day?
Yeah.
Father's Day.
That's right. And for 50 points, what country celebrates Children's Day on May 5th by flying carp kites?
China.
Japan. Next toss-up. To many people, the space race began with the launch of what spacecraft in 19... Leon.
Sputnik 1.
Yes, Sputnik. For 25 points. In Russian, what is the meaning of the word Sputnik?
Dog?
So close. Companion. I mean, really, I almost accept that. Here's your next toss-up. The ancients call it a camelopard because it looks like a cross between a camel and a leopard. We know it better as what long-necked herbivore? Drew.
Giraffe.
Yes. For 25 points, what sure-footed pack animal has a donkey for a father and a horse for a mother?
Mule.
Correct. And for 50 points, tourists can ride mules down the Bright Angel Trail to reach the bottom of what feature on the Colorado River?
Grand Canyon.
That is right for 50 points. Let us take a break and say hello to our teams. First, let's say hi to the Panthers from Burlingame and Drew Ehrlich. You're a sophomore. You're all sophomores. 10th grader, and you have a dog, a companion, right?
Yes, I do.
Tell me about your companion.
He's a Shih Tzu. He's about 4 years old, and his name is Teddy, and he acts more like a cat than a dog.
In what way?
Well, his favorite hobbies include sleeping and sleeping.
Oh, well, that is cat-like, and my cat acts like a dog. He's into eating and loving. Elliot Kane, you're on the golf team.
Yes, I am.
So I'm supposed to ask you, what's your handicap?
Well, it's probably around 20. I haven't calculated one, but
How would Tiger Woods feel if someone said you have a 20 handicap?
He'd look at them like you're crazy.
Okay,
Yeah.
So you're working on improving your handicap.
Yes.
Good luck to you there. Jacob Cohen, you're on the tennis team, and you're in the middle of the season. How's your season going?
Not too well, but we're trying to improve towards the second half.
Okay, well, shoulder to the wheel. I don't know tennis jokes. All right, Stewart Hall. Giancarlo Gratz. I love the name, Giancarlo. Not only are you a student, but you are a chef. Does that mean your mother makes you cook often?
Yeah, I try and cook about once a week.
Okay, what was the last great meal that you made?
I made pasta con salsiccia, which is Italian for sausage.
Did you make the sausage?
No, I bought it at the store.
Yeah, I give you credit for what you did. Good for you. And you'll be cooking for us for our lunch in the studio. Leon Tsai, you have played the piano for 10 years.
That's
and
right.
You're 15?
Yes, I am.
So you started at 5. And where do you play? You play at competitions now, too.
Compete, perform around the nation, internationally. Yeah.
East Coast?
Pretty
You
much.
went to Europe once, you said.
Yeah.
Very nice. We'll have you play while Giancarlo's cooking,
All
because I
right.
think that will soothe him. Charlie O'Connell, you're a senior and a wrestler. You've been wrestling for your whole high school career at Stewart Hall. And how was that? Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. It was a great experience. I was actually league champion this year in my weight class, so I was really happy with that.
Congratulations. Will you wrestle in college, do you think? Or-
I think I'd like to eat and get normal amounts of sleep, so I'll probably, yeah.
Just for fun then. All right, well, good. Good luck, you guys. Let's continue with the game in our next toss-up. In 1949, this nation gained independence from the Dutch. Which country, comprised of more than 17,000 islands, has the world's largest, Elliot?
Malaysia.
No. Has the world's largest Islamic population? You can talk it over for a sec and steal.
Indonesia.
That is right. For 25 points, Indonesia shares what third largest island in the world with the Sultanate of Brunei and Malaysia? Leon?
Oh, wait. Can you repeat the question?
No, I'm looking for the name of an island that it shares.
Malaya?
No, Borneo.
Oh.
Here's your next toss-up. Mercury and aneroid are the two main types of what instrument used to measure air pressure? Elliot.
Barometer.
Correct. For 25 points, in the U.S., barometric pressures are given in inches of mercury. What is the SI unit of pressure equal to 1 Newton per square meter?
Is it ATM or Tor?
Elliot.
ATM.
Pascal. Next toss-up. In 1741, Moravians founded this city, which became a center of the steel industry. What Pennsylvania city shares its name? Yes, Leon.
Pittsburgh.
No. You can steal, Burlingame. What Pennsylvania city shares its name with the birthplace of Jesus?
Bethlehem.
Yes, as in Bethlehem Steel. For 25 points, a Cockney corruption of the name Bethlehem is said to be the origin of what word that means chaos or madness?
Do you guys know?
Behemoth.
Behemoth.
Also one of the most notorious asylums in England, Bedlam. Next toss-up. We use a decimal or base 10 number system. The Mayas used a vigesimal number system, which is what base? Charlie.
6?
No. You can steal. Give me a number, Elliot.
0.
20. A zero base for, yeah, that would be interesting. Okay, base 0. What next toss-up. Which mythical creature would devour anyone who couldn't answer her riddle? Charlie.
Sphinx?
Yes. For 25 points, the Sphinx with the riddle was said to guard the entrance to which ancient Greek city?
Thebes?
That is right. And for 50 points, which complex character finally solved the riddle of the Sphinx?
It was either Jason or maybe Perseus.
And your answer, Leon.
Jason.
No, if you have an Oedipal complex, you run too many marathons with your mom. So, Oedipus. Next toss-up. High-energy electrons that have penetrating power are called by what Greek letter name? Elliot.
Beta.
Do I need more? That's okay. That's right. For 25 points, beta particles of ordinary matter are negatively charged. What do physicists call positively charged beta particles?
You sure? Alpha?
No, positrons. Next toss-up. We're still on a Greek kick. King Midas received the golden touch from which god of wine? Drew.
Dionysus.
Correct. Can I accept that? You all right with that? Good. We're on Roman stuff here, and I'm Western. All right, for 25 points, gold, along with purple and green, are the traditional colors of which New Orleans Bacchanalian festival?
Mardi Gras.
Right, and for 50 points, carnival season in New Orleans ends on Mardi Gras, but begins on 12th night, which is always which day in January?
I don't know.
Elliot.
The January 23rd.
The 6th. That is the end of the round. Burlingame has 130. Stewart Hall has 45. We'll be right back with the end of this match. We're back. Let's give a big hand to the coaches for both of our teams. First, from Burlingame High School, Mr. Dave Sullivan. And from Stewart Hall, Mr. Shannon Hawkyard. Thank you so much, coaches, for all you do. All right, Stewart Hall, you have 45 points. I know you want to take the lead. I know you want to win this game. All you need to do is answer questions. I have 3 categories. Each correct answer will earn you 30 points. You need 3 correct answers to take the lead. And the categories today are Secretary's Day, Easy, and Blankety Blanks. Which category would you like?
We will take blankety blanks.
Blankety blanks. All right, I'm going to ask you to fill in the blank. The blank will always be an adjective and it completes the answer. So number 1 would be that the mountains running from British Columbia to New Mexico are the blank mountains.
Rocky.
The Rockies?
That's right.
All right.
This character in Oliver Twist was the blank Dodger. Leon.
Oh, the draft dodge.
The Artful Dodger.
Oh.
The process in which no heat is exchanged is the blank process.
Just guess.
The equilibrium process.
So close. The adiabatic process.
Okay.
The number equal to its proper divisor sum is the blank number. Equal to its proper divisor's sum.
Perfect prime. I don't know. Just guess something.
The prime?
The perfect number.
Oh.
The perfect number. You need 2 correct answers. There are 3 questions left. This 1782 French novel was called Blank Liaison.
Dangerous. I don't know. Just go dangerous.
Les liaison?
Well, it's lay something liaison. It's the dangerous liaison. You really shouldn't know that. It's way too ribald for people of your age. You need to get both these answers correct. This Elvis Presley song was called Blank Minds.
Confused. I don't know.
Leon?
Dangerous?
Oh, it was Suspicious Minds. This was the tough category, and I'm sorry, you cannot win. Burlingame High School, you have won the game. We'll see both teams next week, though, and we will see you next week, too. Bye-bye.